My name is Allison. Welcome to PPLD's homeschool program, Cooking Up Some Fun. We are going to explore the science and fun of cooking by making 3 different kinds of grilled cheeses and 2 different kinds of mug meals. Now, I work at High Prairie Library, PPLD's branch out east in Falcon. High Prairie Library is turning 10 this year, so in conjunction with this special cooking program, we want to ask for your special recipes. For High Prairie's birthday this year, 10-year birthday party, we are producing a community cookbook. So a cookbook with all community recipes. So if you are inspired today by our cooking, to think about a recipe that you already make or maybe one that you want to come up with now, let us know and we will include the link in our description. Are you ready to get cooking? We're going to start with a grilled cheese recipe from me. I've got some special additives, and then I will throw my spatula off to the next PPLD staff member to show you a second grilled cheese. We've got all my ingredients ready. So we've got bread, butter for the outside, cheese, which I've already sliced from this block with this grater. I have some onion I'm going to add. You don't have to add onion. Apple, which I've thinly sliced from my apple. I'm only going to use a little bit. Kale or spinach, if you like greens, you don't have to add that. And then I'm going to use some stone ground mustard today. First, we are going to butter our bread. Butter on one side, other side's plain. We're going to add some mustard. Mustard on both sides of my bread. Next, I'm going to stack up some cheese on top with my onion, apple, finish with my kale, and then some more cheese. All right, I think we're ready to go. I did not use all of my ingredients, and that's okay. We don't want to have this overloaded. We're going to put this on. And put this on my pan that's been heating for a while on low to medium heat. I've put my grilled cheese on and I'm going to let this hang out. We want this on lower heat, so you don't want this super high because you don't want the bread to cook before the cheese in the middle melts. Now, I like to add a bunch of different ingredients to my grilled cheese. I like to add in fruits and veggies whenever I'm working with something that's just carbs and fat. So I like to get a little boost of greens whenever I can, but I also love the taste combinations of fruit. So something sweet that's added to something savory. Think about when you are making your foods and combining different flavors. So the spiciness from the mustard combined with the sweet of the fruit, the savory of the onions with the fat and the cheese, and the nice crispy outside. I think it's going to taste really good. But one key with successful cooking, I feel like, is just trying different things. So if you try a recipe and you have an idea of something else you could add to it, go for it. I have added a lid to my pan so that the heat stays inside, and this will help melt the cheese and just warm up everything in the middle, because I think my bread is going to grill pretty fast. So we're just going to wait until we think maybe that bottom slice is toasty and golden, and you can kind of check by taking your spatula and lifting it up a little bit and look underneath. So I lifted up the corner of my bread and it was toasty and golden. So I flipped it carefully. And now we are going to let this continue to cook. I think my sandwich is just about done. We can kind of take a peek underneath. Looks pretty good. The inside looks pretty melty. And I think we're done. Yum. All right, well, that was my grilled cheese. I just ate it. It tasted really good. But I also did not forget to clean up that kitchen. So don't forget, once you're done, throw this stuff in the dishwasher or wash it up. Your parents will thank you. All right, next up we've got Betty. Betty, she's going to be making some special accommodations in her grilled cheese. Betty, show us what you've got.
So can you have a grilled cheese sandwich if you are gluten-free and dairy-free? Yes, and I'm going to show you how to make one. So what is gluten-free? Well, gluten is a protein that's found in wheat, barley, rye, and sometimes oats. And if your body cannot process gluten, then you need gluten-free. And so there are lots and lots of breads out there, fortunately, these days. And all you have to do is find your favorite gluten-free bread. Now, the thing is about gluten is that it hides in other things. It sometimes will hide in canned soups or soy sauce and even some pasta like spaghetti. So you have to be careful. You just have to learn to read the labels to these kinds of things. Now, dairy-free is a lactose intolerance problem. Lactose is the milk sugar in cow's milk. And as you know, lots of things are made of cow's milk. Ice cream, cottage cheese, sour cream, just tons of things, even puddings. And you need to avoid all these things because your body cannot process lactose. And so this is very easy, again, in today's world with coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk, rice milk, all kinds of different milks, which is the good news. But for me, buying a lactose intolerant ice cream is not good enough. I have to go dairy free. And so I use vegan a lot because that is not only dairy free, it's all animal product free. Vegan. So today, let me show you how to make a dairy-free, gluten-free grilled cheese sandwich. I'm going to use my vegan butter spread, and I put that on the bread already. I have a couple choices of gluten-free bread here. Now, obviously, for my grilled cheese, I'm going to prefer the larger slices. These are a little too small for grilled cheese. It's good bread, though. And so, you butter one side of your bread, and you're going to flip it over and add some cheese to the dry side. So this is my vegan cheese, and I'm going to just layer it on here like this, okay? And then just for fun, I'm going to add just a little avocado because that sounds like it would be good on a grilled cheese sandwich. If you don't like avocado, then you wouldn't do this, but you could add an onion or tomato or something, okay? Get it nice and thin on there. And then just for a little extra, I'm going to add some mustard, which of course is gluten-free and dairy-free as well. All right. Okay. And now we're ready to cook our grilled cheese sandwich. Put it back together, carry it over to my stove. Now my pan is already hot, but I've only had it on low heat because I don't want it to cook too fast. Sometimes the dairy-free cheese needs a little extra time to melt. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit now and cover it. And you're going to wait until the cheese looks like it is starting to melt. All right, let's see if it's time to flip our grilled cheese. Think I can do it without it falling apart? All right. Sometimes I press it, cover it again. All right, I think my grilled cheese is ready. You'll notice I turned up that heat a little bit. You have to adjust the heat just depending on how your cheese is going. All right, and I'm ready to eat my grilled cheese sandwich. my gluten-free, dairy-free grilled cheese sandwich.
I'm going to give you the quickest, easiest, and tastiest way, in my opinion. This is especially for all you first-time chefs, level 1s. This is a level 10 meal.
You need to choose your bread. There are so many choices these days with bread, but since we want quick and easy, I'm going to use my favorite sandwich bread from the grocery store, 100% whole wheat goodness. Now, maybe you love white bread, maybe you love wheat bread, but do you know what the difference is? Both are made with flour. The difference is in the way it is processed and how healthy it is for you. So flour is made with wheat berries. Wheat berries have 3 nutrient-rich parts, which I will demonstrate using this here tennis ball. The bran is the outer layer, the germ is the innermost layer, and the endosperm, which is the starchy part in between. Whole wheat bread is made using all 3 parts. White bread uses only 1. This means whole wheat will be higher in fiber, vitamins B6 and E, magnesium, zinc, folic acid, and chromium. I choose my cheese. My kids love American cheese. While American cheese does have the recommended amount of calcium in it, if you want a less processed real cheese option, you can use something else like cheddar and a box grater. Now we need a heat source. I'm going to use this non-stick electric griddle. A metal pan will work, but it's a bad insulator, so it often overheats. Yes, you are right, metal is an excellent conductor, but we want a golden brown masterpiece, not a burnt and black one. Even though this is a non-stick griddle, I'm going to rub some butter and a clove of garlic all over the pan for a hint of flavor and for luck. I like to use mayonnaise rather than butter on my grilled cheese sandwich. Yes, you heard that right, mayo. And I use it on all the sides of the bread. I like a little inside because it tastes tangy and delicious. And then I spread some on the outside of the bread as well. The ingredients in store-bought mayonnaise have a higher smoke point than butter. So by putting the mayonnaise on the outside, it allows you to cook the sandwich a little longer without the fear of burning. And this creates a nice crisp exterior. Yum, I can hardly wait to eat this.
Who else wants to make a grilled cheese?
Thanks, Brady. You know what would go really good with all of these grilled cheese sandwiches? A bowl of tomato soup. But I think I'm just going to make enough for myself, so I don't quite need a ladle. I'm just going to make a recipe that will fit right in my mug. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with our ingredients. I will be using diced tomatoes in a can in juice. That's because I'm lazy. You are absolutely able to use fresh tomatoes and dice them yourself. Also using tomato paste in a can. I will be using a vegetable broth, but you can use a chicken broth or a beef broth, whatever you want to have flavor your soup with. I'll also be using light cream. And then everything else is just kind of what I add to make it taste the way I like. So feel free to use these or any ingredient you want to. I will be using a sweet yellow onion, a little bit of basil pesto, and salt and pepper. So the process is pretty simple. I'm going to add everything together in my blender, blend it together, and then pour it into my mug and microwave it. It's that simple. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll be using my bullet blender, but any size blender will do. So I'm going to add half a can of the diced tomatoes. So that's about 7 ounces. A half tablespoon of tomato paste. An eighth of a cup of cream. And a half cup of the broth. I really like onion, so I'm going to add a decent hand size of diced onion. You can add as much as you want or none at all if you don't enjoy onion. And then I'm going to add just a little spoonful, not even a spoonful, just a little bit of pesto. That flavor goes a long way. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And this is also just to taste, so if you like a lot of pepper, add a lot of pepper. If you like a lot of salt. All right, so everything is all blended together. Going to pour my soup from my blender into my mug, my microwave safe mug. And then I'm going to bring this over to the microwave, heat it up, and then it will be all ready. Did you know your microwave works by actually using microwaves to heat up your food? These are tiny invisible waves of energy that bounce around inside the microwave and heat up your food. It heats your food using radiation, which excites molecules inside the water, sugar, and fats of your food. And that excitement makes the molecules move around really quickly, creating friction, which is heat. These microwaves can be potentially dangerous, as radiation can cause cancer and other health problems. But your microwave is also equipped with a really cool thing called a Faraday cage. You may notice this when you look through the glass on your microwave. It looks like a little screen inside of it. This screen is part of the Faraday cage, which is a really strong metal that wraps all the way around the microwave inside and keeps that radiation inside so that you and your family are protected at home. All right, I've got my tomato soup, I've got my grilled cheese, I am ready for an amazing lunch. I wonder what else we can make in a mug. Athena, do you have any ideas?
Thanks, Amanda. That soup looked delicious, and I know exactly how we should end this wonderful meal. We are going to make a mug cake. Stay tuned for the instructions. Here's what we'll need. A clean mug, a 1/4 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of baking powder, a small pinch of salt, a 1/4 cup of some sort of milk, 1 tablespoon of oil, and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. All right, now the way we'll make our cake is first, we'll take our mug and we're just going to pour in all of the dry ingredients. There's our sugar, our baking powder, and our tiny pinch of salt. And now that that's done, we're just going to mix those together. And once they're nice and mixed, you can make sort of a well in the middle. Just move a little bit of the flour out of the way. And then it's time to add our wet ingredients. Here goes our milk. And our oil. And our vanilla extract. Now we're just going to mix. And I'll give you a look at mine. We're just going to mix until you don't see any big lumps or any dry flour at the bottom. All right, I think we're ready to put this into the microwave. Hey, do you know what makes a cake rise? Think of an old school vinegar and baking soda volcano. The chemical reaction between the baking soda and an acid creates tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide. In our cake, we used baking powder. Baking powder is baking soda combined with an acid ingredient. When you activate it with a liquid, it produces carbon dioxide bubbles, a lot like that science fair volcano. Those CO2 bubbles are trapped in our cake batter. When we bake our cake, the heat makes those tiny carbon dioxide bubbles expand and our cake rises. All right, we're going to close the door of our microwave and we're going to microwave our cake for 90 seconds. When your cake comes out of the microwave, it should look something like this, light and fluffy and filled with delicious carbon dioxide bubbles. All right, thank you for coming today, everybody, and don't forget to submit a recipe for the Harvest Cookbook. Thanks!
Hello, I'm Athena, and today we'll be making croquet monsieur, which is a French sandwich that originated in French cafes and bars and its first appearance was in 1910. The ingredients of this dish include Gruyere cheese, Virginia ham, French bread is what I use, but you can use any, milk, butter, Parmesan cheese, and flour. To do this, you will put butter over your flat top and then lay the bread on top of it at 350 degrees. Make sure you get everywhere your bread will go. Now we will leave this for a little. Now that our bread has toast, we will flip it so we can get the other side cooked. Now that the bread is toasting, we will make the sauce. For the sauce, you will need 3 tablespoons of butter. Now put in the butter and stir it around using a wooden spoon. You will now need 2 cups of milk, 3 tablespoons of flour. Now pour in the flour. Whisk it until it starts to thicken. Now add some salt, some pepper, a little nutmeg, some Parmesan cheese, and some Gruyere cheese to your mixture, and then stir. Now put the cheese and ham onto the bread. Now sprinkle Gruyere sheddings all over the sandwiches. Sauce onto the sandwiches. Roast this at 400 degrees in an oven until lightly brown. These are now ready to eat after it cools down. These are the finished products. Enjoy!